Well, I know one thing, and that is if you are eating yourself into death or that you have a heart attack or diabetes, you're putting all that onto you based on your lifestyle habits, which is like, eating too much, being sedentary, stressing, and maybe sit on your butt all day long and driving a cab. That is not self-love. And if you ask your body's not healthy and your body's not happy and you're gonna die prematurely. If that's self-love, that is just grotesque in my opinion. That is not self-love. People use it because it's easy and convenient. You can't really tell them, that of course you should love yourself. But what I feel is the difference here is that people are obsessed about self-love is about letting yourself be exactly the way you are, not putting in effort, treating your body, like a trash can, pretty much. When it should be at least, I love myself so much, so I think that I'm worth much better than eating junk food and treating my body like a trash can. You see the difference there?
What's up, everyone? You are listening to Wake Up Naked. I am your host, Esmey Leon. We're going in deep into ourselves. We're going to be talking about ideas and concepts and things that have the potential to actually change our lives. So get excited, get ready, and what are you waiting for? Come over here and get naked with me. Lots of energy happening here. Team, welcome to the Wake Up Naked podcast. My name is Esmey Leon. And I am here with one of my favorite no bullshit people, Paulline Nordin. Am I saying that right?
Pauline Nordin.
Nordin. You know what's funny? I wanted to say Nordin, but I didn't follow my instinct.
Well, that's the American way to say it. Of course, going to be Nordin, but the Swedish pronunciation is going to be so it rhymes. So Pauline Nordin, yeah,
Nordin.
It's easy.
I love it. So Pauline, you are the creator of the Fighter Diet. For someone that has no idea what that is, what's it about?
Fighter Diet is a big volume kind of nutrition system for people like me who has a very big appetite and a slow metabolism and kind of want to line those two up and create a lean body 365 days a year. Is very hard because you get hungry. And when you're hungry, it's very hard to say no to all the food you like to eat. So I had to figure it out. How can I do this? Like, how can I actually have the body I want, but also not be hangry all the time and starving and so mad at, I want to eat everything. And I came up with Fighter Diet, and the number one rule there is prevent overeating by overeating. So you're stuffing yourself so you are not hungry, and when you're not hungry, it's much, much easier to not say no to food that is gonna, fatten you up very easily.
Mm-hmm. And just to clarify, because that might not make sense to people, how can you stop overeating by overeating, right?
Yeah, it has to be the right food, you cannot... The more food volume you eat, the more low calorie it has to be, because you cannot sit there and think that you're going to be a massive eater on a keto diet, because keto diet means like a high fat, for instance, that's going to be very low volume. So it's going to be like, vegetables are your best friends. Like vegetables you can eat until the cows come home, like it takes forever. It's the perfect food, and then high protein and so on. So it's just, you have to choose the right kind of food that allows you to eat a lot from.
Right, and that's what Fighter Diet will do for you.
Yes.
Now, super exciting, you have At Body by Pauline, which has been launched, and it's amazing. People can go and train with you.
And you.
And me, I know, surprise. I'm so excited. I really think, obviously, even if you didn't have me on there, Pauline working out with you, and I've worked out with you, and it was like really hard, even though it's 20-minute workouts right?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool because you also have Spanish workouts on there, which I get to lead. I have the privilege of doing that. So super exciting stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Most people don't have the ability to go and train for like an hour or 2 hours a day. And what I try to do is to show if your number one kind of goal is to have a normal, healthy body and you want to be fit, but you don't really have to be a professional athlete. You don't have to be a slave in the gym. You can get it done in 20 minutes, just you have to really work the time. Mm-hmm. And then it still comes down to diet. Like nobody wants to talk about that because nobody wants to focus on their nutrition. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why it's so much easier to sell workouts rather than a diet, because diet is complicated, and people do not like to kind of, if you say this is not going to help you, you have to change your diet. That is never a popular message.
Yeah.
It's much easier to kind of sell people like, oh, you can work it off, but nobody can work off a diet. You have
bad
to keep
one.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
And I want people to hear your beautiful voice. So go ahead and make sure you're pointing that
Oh,
at you. Yeah,
sorry.
there we go. No, you're fine. But you have such a great presence and voice. I want everyone to get everything. Why do you think nutrition is so hard for people?
Well, first of all, that you are alone with the food. That's it's you against the food. Nobody's stopping you from eating it. We live in a society where pretty much it's almost like opposite. Like if you are indulging or overindulging and you end up being obese or overweight, nobody's telling you that, because you are not allowed to say to anyone that you're a little bit chubby. You should actually watch your food.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like almost it's a fat accepting. I always fine to eat as much as you want, but you're not allowed to eat healthy and kind of want to eat healthy, because that's a problem for people. Like have you ever been in a party with people and they have all these chips and nachos and all that stuff, and you say no, I like thank you, no. Then all of a sudden the whole party is about you. That wait, why are you not eating this? You can afford it. You get away with it. You are so fit and strong. So all like stuff. It's like you're not even allowed to choose that. So there's a lot of different issues with nutrition, but it comes down to impacting someone's freedom of what they choose to eat. That is a little bit of weight to say, almost the Constitution here. Like you want to have the freedom to eat whatever you want,
and you don't have the right to tell me that I can't eat this.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense, right? Now, I want to talk about something particularly with you because, again, I respect that you just say it as it is, but also in a very overall, your messages come from your heart. It's nothing malicious. It's just straightforward. So, I want to talk about this trend about this self-love trend, right? And the idea that that some people can use that as a cop-out, like say, oh, well, I love myself, so I love myself no matter what size I am, even though they could be chubby or fat or obese or whatever. What's your opinion about that? And just saying, well, self-love, I love myself.
Well, I know one thing, and that is if you are eating yourself into death, or that you have a heart attack or diabetes, you're putting all that onto you based on your lifestyle habits, which is eating too much, being sedentary, stressing, and maybe sit on your butt all day long and driving a cab. That is not self-love. And if you ask your body's not healthy, and your body's not happy, and you're gonna die prematurely. If that's self-love, that is just grotesque, in my opinion. That is not self-love. People use it because it's easy and convenient. You can't really tell them, that, of course you should love yourself. But what I feel is the difference here is that people are obsessed about self-love is about letting yourself be exactly the way you are, not putting in effort, treating your body, like a trash can, pretty much. When it should be at least, I love myself so much, so I think that I'm worth much better than eating junk food and treating my body like a trash can. You see the difference there? It's not, of course I want everyone to love their body because you just have one. It's not like you can just replace it when you feel like it. And if you instead have a little bit more self-respect and say, okay, my body deserves the best, that is self-love to me. It's not sitting here eating chips that I know it's gonna cause all these unhealthiness and what has caused us to look like, we're walking around here like if someone attacks us, how are we going to defend ourselves with our fat bodies? Really, I don't even see it. So I think it's a little bit of a cop-out. People pretend that they love themselves the way they are, but they're not really. They just take the easy way out because it's easier to kind of say, oh, okay, this is fine. I love myself. Nobody can tell me that I should change. It takes much more effort to actually do something about it, and that people don't like to do that.
Yeah, because I've pondered that as well. And I'm like, well, there is something to accepting. And I think that's, you shouldn't, if you feel you're overweight, you shouldn't hate your body. But I think there's something that is respectable about being honest and saying, because I've been with people where they don't even want to be in a picture. Forget about the health issues. There's also emotional issues with your heart and your head where you don't want to be in a bikini, you're embarrassed. You don't want to play with your kids, or you just can't. Or I've known people that can't fly, don't fly, because they are embarrassed about sitting in a seat in an airplane. So I think that's also could be hard.
Well, nobody said it was going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that someone who's overweight it didn't happen overnight. This happened over probably several years, and that they're gaining more weight. Then when they want to revert that into being like a healthy person and lose weight and so on, they put so much high expectations on themselves. So if they don't kind of get rid of all this weight in like a week, which is completely unrealistic to think about that, more like, give it 1 or 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Then of course they're going to feel like disappointed and discouraged because they feel like whatever they do, it's not good enough. But that's because they're impatient. They haven't seen all they've done all the way. So how I see it when I talk to people, because I feel like, I don't hate fat people, like, why would I hate fat people? Like, there's no reason for it. But what I would like is to have, a conversation about it, of course, that, okay, so you ate in the past and you were unhappy, and okay, we see everything you've done, but that's it, like now it has to change. Because we can keep on talking and, and plowing over and over about all the things that have been gone wrong in your life, everything that led to you to treating yourself and not do anything about it, and then just kind of accept, like you said, accept. What are we accepting? That I have a crappy discipline, that I don't want to change, that I don't want to work on myself, on my strength. Because that, and we're like, are we animals or are we people? Are you actually intelligent, or are you just like a dog? Like you see a sandwich, oh, I'm going to have it. We have to kind of wait. We are much, much smarter. So give yourself credit for that. That sandwich, yeah, you want it, but you don't want to have eaten it later, so don't.
What about for someone that's like, Pauline, I hear you, you're right, but it's so hard to do. Like, what's your advice for them for their first step? What would you tell them?
To not do a complete detox cleanse, fix everything in one day. Everything is going to be perfect. I'm going to be perfect from now on. And I never want to hear this, I'm never ever going to eat anything junk at all again. Every time I hear that, it's just, I know what you're going to eat for weekend, because that is how the human brain is. If you say you're never going to have something, you're never going to spoil your results again or something, that is what's going to happen. Like, never say that's never going to happen again. Especially something that is so tasty and delicious, like food, like food is not the enemy. You just have to learn how to play the game so you can eat healthy, be healthy, and also indulge, in moderate amounts.
So someone looks at you and it's like, okay, Pauline figured something out. She looks amazing, ripped, veins popping out. I see you, girl. Okay. How they want to know, like, how did you develop the self-discipline? And for me, I love digging into this. Did you always have the discipline?
Have you ever met someone who invented a diet concept or something who never had the need for it, him or herself? Have you ever met someone, like someone who was super shredded and like had an amazing body, and then they came out, here's the perfect diet plan? Never, right? Because there has to be a reason for that to happen, why someone creates something. They say that necessity is the mother of invention. I did not have discipline. I started to starve myself when I was like 12 or 13. I actually started diet when I was 8. I saw my stepdad. He was like a big fat, and I saw him sleeping on the couch, and I just put two together, like, all right, if I eat that, I'm going to end up like him. I don't want that. So I stopped eating candy. And then after that, a few years later, it was like a rebellion against my stepdad because he tried to control me, and I took it out on my body, and it's like, I'm going to have discipline. I'm going to take charge of my life. So I did that with diet and exercise that way, typical eating disorders. I did that for 5 years, and then I moved away from home. I attended a very nice school that I got like scholarship for. I did that with my motivation was so nobody can check my food, so I don't have to eat. That was my reason. But
your reason for what?
For moving away from home and to go to a nice elite school. Yeah, that was because I wanted to have my eating disorders for myself, so nobody could mind my business. But during that time, I started to feel like I was losing control. I lived off 1 can of Heinz white beans in tomato in tomato sauce every day. So it's 400 calories only. And I remember I was sitting there in my dorm room and I looked at my legs and it's like, why are they so jiggly? Like, why are they not firm? Like, I'm dieting. I don't eat. I exercise, you know? And I was like shaking my legs and they were just flabby. They're skinny but flabby. And then at the same time, I walked by a magazine store, and that's when I saw Arnold on the cover of the Muscle and Fitness, and I just saw that and I was blown away. I knew that's how I'm gonna go to America. And I had never trained before, like in a gym. I didn't even know they had like free weights and stuff. But I saw that and just, okay, bodybuilder, that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give it 3 years to train and then do that. So I did that. But when it comes to diet and discipline, I was like everyone else, you know, trying to eat the 6 meals of healthy food, and then I completely binge ate from Friday to Sunday on pizza, ice cream, chocolate, and cookies and candy. And I have amazing capacity to eat a lot of food and not feel bad about it.
Me too.
Yeah, and like you know, it's really it's something with like the harder you can train, also the harder you can eat, you know. And I actually didn't understand why I'm getting fatter and fatter like every week. Like I didn't understand because everyone has cheat days. Why can't I have cheat days? That was how the industry is. And I didn't know that probably that I can eat a lot more than people can. Or number 2, I don't know what they're doing that I'm not. You know, there's a lot of drug use in the industry I don't know about. But I also didn't know that I have an undiagnosed hypothyroidism that I had for 10 years probably before I was diagnosed. But I know in hindsight now that I still, with hypothyroid and not being medicated, I still got in lean for my shows. I did 8 pro shows and I had 4 shows before that as an amateur. I got shredded because, mind over matter, a thyroid cannot eat food that you're not putting in your mouth. That doesn't mean that I didn't feel bad or like I had a lot of symptoms and stuff. But so no, I had to train. It's like the discipline. I wanted to look like a Greek goddess all year round. I didn't care about competing. And I understood that in order to do that, I kind of have to understand how to get this diet in order. I was so mad, Esmey. I was running on the beach trying to work off all the calories I had eaten because I couldn't keep it together. I was so hungry. And then one day, it came to me. It was like this epiphany. And I always get chills. It's like, I'm not religious, I'm not spiritual, and not like nothing like that. But that was like all came to me. The fighter diet, the name of the fighter diet, how to do it, all the lines, all the rules, all the guidance, everything. And that's the only time that I have ended my running session prematurely. I just ran home and I wrote on my blog, I'm on to something here. And I put it on all my clients and they all got great results because all of a sudden I put this in system and on myself. So I started to eat more and more of the way that I have with these different rules. And I just saw like, wait, I'm not hungry anymore. I'm getting leaner and leaner. And then you start to see my pictures, the transformation here, year after year after year, and just like kind of, maintaining, but just changing. So it was amazing. Yeah.
Wow. So you literally were on this run and you got a download from whatever.
Yeah.
Or, but it all like made sense to you.
Yeah.
And you started the fire.
And that's how I started my company. I started everything. Like I just took the leap of faith. I stopped all my personal training. I put everything on one stake just because I knew this was it. And it was.
Was that scary?
I was a daredevil. There was nothing. I came from Sweden over here to work it. There was nothing. I have not come this far to be stopped now. So there was like just full force forward. And I had that mindset before that I'm trying to kind of get back. I refused to let myself go into those dark areas of your brain where you're starting to kind of question things and word. I just didn't go there. I was just very set on this is my way and it's going to be this way. And that is my best kind of mindset, and that I've like regained it a lot because when you get older too, you've been through a lot more, and then all of a sudden it's like you're starting to kind of question stuff and like really like how can I do this? And I tell myself, Pauline, you did it once, you're gonna do it again,
Yeah. So, and I'm totally feeling everything you're saying, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. When you're talking about these moments of like when doubt can kind of creep in a little, what advice can you give to someone if that thought comes in like, do you really want to do that? You can't do that. You've never done that before. How can someone deal with the mental aspect of being human?
Yeah, that's a sucky part, you know, like because sometimes I can get so mad at myself because I'm a worrier. Like that has been my whole life. That's why I have tried to like take charge of myself. Like I can't let myself to go into that little darkness. How I motivate myself, I tell myself, Pauline, no coward go to history. Nobody cares about reading about cowards. You want to be coward? You want to be someone who's like, oh, I'm so scared. Like that's bullshit, you know. I motivate myself of trying to think like, Pauline, don't you want to be how people see you? You know, that they want you to be this kind of fearless person who is unstoppable, invincible, you know, can just do everything. And so I'm just, okay, that is the idea a lot of people have about me. The perception is that Pauline is fearless. Okay, I'm going to be that because it's easier for me to kind of take that role. Because I hate myself when I'm stressed and worried and anxious. Like, I don't like that person. And it doesn't do me any good either.
Yeah.
So, you know, unfortunately, there's no like, oh, just do this. But telling yourself what you want to hear and what you need to hear every day and self-pep talk and, you know, affirmations or like whatever. It's something you have to do and you have to do it every day. And you know what I did, Esmey? Like, I have challenges. So I have these women that I help and I coach. And I give them the affirmations. I gave them a write out. Okay, you're gonna tell yourself this every day in front of the mirror twice a day. And it was a long laundry list of stuff to tell themselves. And I say, you're gonna send videos to me so I know that you've done it. That is not even, it doesn't even take an exertion. It doesn't take any motivation. You don't have to go to the gym and do it, you know, like that. It's just read it out and do it. Guess how much I had to fight for them to do that? It took a long time because people weren't comfortable doing that and they didn't believe in it. And then I'll hear them saying that they don't even believe in their own power. They think that they can't do it. I'm just like, wait, do you want to change that? Or because that's scary. You know, you don't believe in yourself, but you also don't want to teach yourself how to believe. Then, you know, like why?
Interesting. So you were running up against people that said, hey, I want to change. I want help. You gave them the tools. You're showing them what you did. And they were fighting you on it.
Yes, fighting me on it. And the same thing they ask, how can you train so much, Pauline? It's like, do you see how much stretching, mobility, rolling I do? I take care of my body like it's a Ferrari. It takes that much if you want to train at my level. You see, it's not a human right. It's like you have to be like a professional at that. And I have like a surgeries and all my injuries and stuff. Like I can't afford just going to gym and just train, you know. I wish, but that was, I don't know. That was like when I was 20 maybe.
We've talked about that where it's like, I wish I knew then what I know now. Because I would have been stretching, foam rolling like a psycho if I would have understood how important it was to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm with you. Something interesting that you said, with the affirmations, because I totally believe in affirmations, and I think sometimes you say them until you believe them, but they become more powerful when you can find words that touch your heart. So out of the ones that you've sent to your clients, what's your favorite one that you can share with our audience today?
Well, it's so typical, but this one always comes to me first. Like when I tell myself, I'm strong. That's always the first one. It's very simple, very easy, but it's like, that is, because I'm not one of those, like, I don't have to tell myself that I love myself because I have taught myself. This is not my issue. My issue is more like, you know, I want to keep my positive mentality, my fearless outlook. I want to keep that solid. I don't want to go into these little crybaby moments. Like, those are boring. So with these affirmations, like people have to find those that they believe in, that they like, you know, not do. So I told them, you know, of course, you don't have to say what I say, but here's something, you know, and just to show them too that someone at my level who people think is so confident that nothing can, you know, push me over the edge at all. I kind of want to show them that I have to do this work too, like, you know, because I don't like how they sometimes make me into this kind of, they put me on a pedestal like I'm a goddess and that I don't do regular things
and it's easy for you. It's so easy for you.
And Pauline has never had a problem. Or so, for instance, like I try to educate them about how to actually have a treat meal that's not gonna be you blow it all, and how different ways you can do that. So what I did is I showed them one of my treat meals that is like, you know, I had some Chinese and it was a pizza slice on top or something, but very conservative. And I was proud of this. I was proud of showing it because it took me 2 decades to have this relaxed relationship with food, that I can eat this and not feel any bad and not blow it and not eat 5,000 other calories and not, you know, all those things. For me, it was an accomplishment. So then I get some of these comments and people are like, oh, that looks disgusting. Like, oh, you ate that? Is that a pizza? And that pissed me off. I'm just like, hey, I'm here showing you that how you can do this. Okay, I'm showing different ways. Don't kill the messenger. But then again, like it's sometimes whatever you do, you're gonna not be popular because it's like I'm trying to teach you how to do it. But then I showed, I guess, that I won over myself. I accomplished something, and then maybe that wasn't the smartest way to do it. I don't know. Sometimes when you have the best, that you don't even know what people want from you anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think you do a really good job of just like doing you and being authentic. And like, some people are going to get it and some people are not going to get it. So you have your tribe that gets you.
Yeah.
And to some people, they saw that and they got it, right? Like, oh yeah, she also has these moments and that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I think it's cool that you shared it.
Because what I found was so weird is that when I then show this typical a typical meal, I said I also wrote this doesn't happen that often. It's like every 6th blue moon. I like my healthy food and I just eat more. But to kind of hear a whole crew, like a whole crowd of people, and nobody owns up to them liking that kind of food. Who are all these people go to Costco to load up all the carts with all the junk food? Someone has to do it.
Yeah, or the line at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Who's the line at McDonald's?
Nobody does that. So I'm just like, hey, I'm the honest person here. And you all here, ladies, nobody can say you have ever liked Toblerone. No, of course, because nobody eats chocolate. And then I could just, I don't know why. But I do my best. I try to kind of show them both sides. And I think it would be irresponsible for me to sit there and say like, oh, I never ever eat anything else. Because you know what I think too? What if someone just sees me at the store and then buys something and like I would be such a big hypocrite. So I would never have that. Like, I have complete transparency when it comes to that.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I think that's the way to go. And it's interesting because I feel like I've had moments like that too. And one time I was coming out of some pizza place and I had a pizza box and I ran into someone at the gym like, you eat that? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I don't eat it every day, but I eat that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to let people know that it's okay. But I think you are just do a good job of being consistent.
Yeah.
And I love something that you said in one of your videos. You talked about like, obviously like we're talking about those are once in a blue moon moments and you share them. And I think it's cool that you do. But you said something like, I don't break my rules for anything anymore. Not for a breakup, not for something shit hits the fan in life. Can you tell me a little bit more about that mentality? Because that really got me because I feel sometimes when shit happens in our life, we're like, well, it's okay. I can be a little more laid back or I deserve these cookies because this happened to me or you went through a breakup. It's okay. You can start getting off of your routine. Something like that,
Well, I just know that if I have a breakup, the last thing I'm going to do is to eat so I like lose my physique. Hell no. Hell no. That's never going to happen.
Like, I'm going to look even better.
Yeah, exactly. I'm way too competitive for that. You're going to miss you. That's something. I'm very hard on myself in a good way. Like, I'm blunt, just like I am with other people. I try my best to be more like, nice. Because I have a very sharp tongue and it can hurt people in the wrong way. So I try my best to kind of be better at that. But when it comes to myself, I'm very blunt. I don't let myself bitch about how I want something, I want to eat something if I'm not okay with the consequence. Mm. One of my typical motivations that I tell myself, well, Pauline, you can eat this, but then you can't complain about it tomorrow, or like don't eat this today if you don't want what you don't want to have eaten tomorrow. And kind of just, I had a lot of years of those when I just said, screw it, I'm going to eat this and then start over again tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I never got results from it. And also like I hate feeling flabby or crappy. So it's very seldom I do that. Mm-hmm. Self-sabotage, even though people like self-medicate with food and so on. Yeah, it makes you feel better for the moment. But then after that, it doesn't. And it's tasty again and again and again and again. Even though you sit there and you stuff, oh, it's disgusting now. 10 minutes later, you may take a nap, but then you wake up and just, wait, little chocolate, no, it wouldn't be that bad. Like I know all those things. It's like food is always going to be there. And kind of just delay it a little bit. And then you say later, like, okay, I remember I tell myself, I can eat all the cookies I want when I'm old. because then what else am I gonna do?
When you're old,
yeah, you know, like that. So
yeah.
I'm just thinking about that in the future. But when it comes to what you said about, you asked, what was it exactly?
Just not losing yourself for anything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? No matter what happens in life.
You are your own best friend. And if there's someone that you are stuck with, it's going to be you. There's nobody in your whole life that is as important as you, because if you don't have you, you have nobody. And that is true. We know that if you're dead, well, we're going to have friends for then. For some reason, women in particular are so good at putting everyone else first, and then they come last. And I actually don't know, Esmey, if this is from the good of the heart, from guilty conscience, or it's from actually being convenient. Because if you always allow other people to step on you or to push everyone else in front of you, you kind of have an excuse to not self-actualize yourself to what you can. And then all of a sudden, well, I had kids, or I have family, or I have to, my dad had another job or something. I mean, you can always find an excuse. And I think at times that people are just, same thing, they want family, they don't know really why they want to have 5 kids, but they do want to. And I just think that, well, because everyone else is doing it and you don't have to think.
Wow, that is super powerful. I love what you said, because it could, like you said, it could come from many places, and it's important for people to be honest. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from an honest place to really want to help someone? But even then, if you're constantly outputting energy into other people, you're gonna crash and you're gonna have a heart attack or something. Or sometimes people use that as an excuse to not focus on themselves. And that is an easy cop-out to say, well, I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of that. And that, therefore, I have an excuse now to not take care of myself.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, that's
it's like almost like passive aggression, but it's in a way.
You.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got as much out of that as I did. If you have not hit the subscribe button, make sure to go back and hit subscribe and keep coming back. Team, we are going to the top, and I will see you there. I'm out.